Welcome to BPI's Music and Tech Springboard Programme. Developed by BPI in association with Music Ally, it aims to help technology startups and developers navigate the music industry. The last decade has seen a radical shift in the way we make, discover and experience music, driven by innovation and partnerships between the worlds of recorded music and technology. Britain's labels have been helping artists to build their audiences across the world on the big technology platforms, from the streaming services of Spotify, Apple and Amazon to social networks like Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. But innovation isn't just about the biggest tech companies. The teams at British labels, whether major or independent, are just as keen to forge creative partnerships with new music and tech startups. They might be exploring cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence or augmented reality. They might be building marketing and business tools with new ways to track analytics or make payments. They might be integrating music into mobile games, testing new digital ways to learn and compose and play music, making tools to help A&R teams identify new talent, or helping fans connect with artists in new ways. British labels' doors are wide open to these and many more startups, with a real desire for the kind of collaboration and innovation that sees all sides win: artists, fans, labels, and the startups alike. That's why we at BPI have put together this series of videos with experts from the British music and tech industries giving their advice on how the label-startup relationship can work best. The recorded music industry in the UK is showing consistent growth, but Britain's labels aren't resting on their laurels. They're seeking out talented new startups to work with, just as they're seeking out the most talented new artists. I'm looking forward to these videos helping to spark the next wave of music tech partnerships in 2020 and beyond.
In many ways, there has never been a better time to be a startup in and around music. Years ago, there was some resistance within the music industry to the technologies and digital trends that were radically disrupting its business. When the threat of piracy was hanging over the music industry, many people were nervous about change and disruption. But in 2020, industry revenues have been rising again, streaming music is mainstream, and the industry is genuinely excited about new technologies and tech partners who can help it make use of them. If you have an original, innovative idea, I think you're going to find a very willing audience for it in today's music business. But still, you need to be prepared and informed if you want to stand a good chance of success. And that's where this series of videos comes in. So before you dive in, here are a few basic things you should be aware of and consider. Firstly, the music industry is very complex and its main sectors address different parts of the value chain. It's important that you get to grips with these in order to make sure you know the relevant stakeholders you might need to engage with. On one side, you have the live music sector, responsible for putting on concerts, festivals and other gigs. Some key operators you should be aware of in that space are booking agents, promoters, venues and ticketing companies. And in most cases, these companies are quite separate from rights holders like labels and music publishers. To understand the rights holders side of the business at a basic level, it's important for you to know that publishers look after songwriter rights, whereas labels look after the copyright and the recording of the song. You will hear later on from the two main collecting societies for labels and performers, PPL, and for publishers and songwriters, PRS for music, the details on how these rights are assigned and monetized. But a key takeaway to remember is that if your startup is looking to license music, you will likely have to bear both sides of the coin in mind. Now, this may all sound daunting, but you will later hear from experienced lawyers and advisors, as well as exciting music-specific startup accelerator programs who will explain how they can help you navigate the complexities of this world and offer you support. Now we'd like to zone in on labels, not just because the BPI represents this particular sector of the business, but because labels are at the forefront of working with startups and fostering innovation. To understand why, here's what you should know. Labels sit at the heart of making records. It all starts with the A&R function, which stands for Artist and Repertoire. People in these departments find, sign and develop talent, connecting artists with the right producers and other partners to help bring the artist's sound to life. Once the song or album is recorded, this means dealing with a distributor or distributing the recordings themselves to all the main digital and streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon or YouTube. to make sure the music is available on as many platforms as possible, and looking after the production, manufacturing and distribution of physical products like CDs and vinyl to record shops and other outlets like online stores. Now, getting music online and into physical stores is one thing, but this means nothing without connecting the artists and their music to audiences. And this is where marketing, PR, promotions and radio plugin teams come in. This can also go hand in hand with the monetization of the music, and people across other areas of the business have a dual task of generating revenue and broadening the artist's appeal and finding new audiences. Some functions in this space include digital partnerships, looking after maximizing opportunities for music on streaming platforms, sync, licensing music into films, TV, ads and games, brand partnerships, enhancing an artist's image and bringing their values to life through aligning with the right commercial and charity or mission-led partners, and international, helping the artist to reach a more global audience. Frontline marketing teams work hard with all their colleagues to make sure the music's potential is fulfilled. And once the artist moves on to the next phase of their career, the previous recordings are handed on to the catalogue teams, and they try to make sure the fires are constantly burning and carry on pursuing opportunities to make sure artist legacies are preserved and then discovered and rediscovered by new fans. This constant need to make sure fan bases are engaged, new audiences are found, and catalogues are exploited to their full potential is another reason why labels are so interested in innovation. And you'll hear from the labels themselves in one of the episodes of the series what it is that they look for in a startup, what problems they'd like to solve, and so where the opportunities lie. And last but not least, you will hear from some successful startups that operate across different parts of the value chain, talking about how they made it all work. We hope you find their stories inspiring, and on behalf of Music Ally and the BPI, we wish you the best of luck if you want to follow in their footsteps. And we invite you to enjoy this learning program and find out about the other ways in which we can support you by clicking on the link below.